Okay, so if you want to make a legend that has a cut down list of things, obviously first you go to your layout view from your data view, these two little buttons down here. Now you got your page. We won't mess with that, we just want to look at the legend options. So if I go to Insert, Legend, I usually just remove, you'll see it puts some extra layers in for the base map. So I'll just highlight all those and click this little arrow to just move those out of the legend. In this little box here is all the things that are going to be in your legend once you create this temporary legend. And that looks good to me. So I'm just going to, usually I just go right through this list so I can see what it looks like. So I hit next, 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 and then finish. We can edit all that stuff once we create it. So we got a little legend here, and Kylie was asking about soil. So one interesting thing is one of the legend settings is that if you turn something on, it will, if you have this setting, you go into items and then maybe general. So add a new item to the legend when a new layer is added to the map. So that means if you drop something in, it would show up. I thought it meant that when you check this on, it would add itself, but it doesn't. So if you want to add something to your legend, you can just double click on the legend. And you see you're back in this items window, and you can scroll down to the thing you want to add, soils, and then you hit the one little arrow, and OK. So you can see this is a big, long list, and that's going to be hard to work with. So there's also a legend option in here. I think under layout. Oh, yeah. So that says only show classes that are visible in the current map extent, which means only put things in my legend that are actually on the map, right? So like actually pretty helpful and pretty hidden thing there. Oh, I guess there's a lot of soil types still on the map.
How much time did you have to go? Did you have to like click on soil?
You might have been right, yeah. I know what you mean. Items, yes. Yes, thank you. Nice. So you gotta click on it over here and then say only show. There we go. Cuts it down a bit. I'm going. Okay, so the other way I might reduce the amount of things in there is sometimes if you go into especially data like soils and zoning, there's multiple tiers of types of soil and zoning. So you can see one way to go look like for example, these look like they're different ways of classifying it. And one way to scroll through kind of what the lists look like and how many values are in each list is if you go to the symbology of that layer. And so right now I have it on name, but we saw those other ones in there, and we could do farm calc and see that. So that one only has 3, so that would be better for a legend. And then hell calc. So erodible land, and then a lot of times you can kind of pick something that gets at your point but doesn't have a million classifications, because if it's not like specifically like a scientific soils map, you might not need all that stuff, but it does apply to a lot of GIS data. So then you have a nice simple legend. Let's see some other things about legends. Sometimes it is helpful if you say had buildings and you wanted to show how many buildings were on the map. You could do the show feature count, and it would actually tell you a count. There's 1,000 buildings in the map extent right there. And then there's layout options that if you have an area polygon, it always looks better rather than just having a square to do one of these other types, like urbanized area. And then it's got that nice little thing there. And then the lines look nice if you do like an incline. Just a little bit different than the typical ArcMap map that you see out there. And then if you don't want that title, you usually just turn it off, uncheck it. Great. So then, let's say you're pretty confident about your legend, and you want to make a copy of it and just use the graphics in there and move them around. I usually make a copy of it first, and then you can right click on it and convert to graphics, and then you can right click on it and ungroup, and then you actually get these pieces of text that you could move around. So let's say we wanted to put these in a couple of columns here. We could do the soils over here. We could do everything else over here. Now the thing to know about doing that is they're not linked to the legend anymore, so if you change anything, it's not going to update there. But if you're at a point where you want to make some finer adjustments, you can do that. And you can also continue to ungroup these until you get down to just this piece. And then the text, so you could edit the text too. So anyway.